Hi, I'm Raven Lunis, a musician from Brazil, and I've been doing a series of videos talking a bit about inspiration and how I write my lyrics, everything about more like on the artistic process I go through generally. But today I wanted to talk specifically about an inspiration of mine that it's Bjork. Her album Vulnicura is turning 10 this month, and I have to be honest, at first I didn't listen to it because I was like hooked up on her older stuff that I really enjoy, like Vespertine, the album's Post, and afterwards the debut album that is called Debut. And it took me a while to listen to that album, especially because people I knew at the time would tell me that it was really raw and vulnerable and intense. And I don't get me wrong, I like those kinds of music, but I wasn't in the exact frame of mind, the right frame of mind to listen to that kind of record at the time. So I kind of shied away from it for a long time. I think I only really listened to it years after, when the Bjork Digital exhibition came to Brazil. So I went to São Paulo to go see it, and the Vulnicura VR experience was part of it. And I think it was the first time I really listened to the songs on that album. It was during that exhibition. And it was really, I kind of like to say, disturbing to me, because I really felt where she was coming from. I knew that she was she had written the lyrics and the album inspired by her recent breakup with her husband. And she would say that it was one of the most painful, I don't think it's one of, or she actually said that it was the most painful time in her life. This in itself is a really bold statement, especially because you are being extremely vulnerable and personal in your lyrics. Everybody knew Bjork then. She's still pretty known, but what I mean is she's a really famous person inside the music scene, and everyone knew who she was speaking about, because her husband at the time was Matthew Barney, who she'd been with for a long while, I think. I think she was like maybe almost 15 years together. So it was a long marriage. And he is also an artist. He's a contemporary artist. So he is well known in the artistic community. So everyone knew who she was talking about and what exactly was happening by the time that she made those lyrics, that she wrote those lyrics. And it was a really bold thing to do. And I really applaud her for it, because it's not everyone that would do that, because people wouldn't want to be so vulnerable like that to the public. So I think I found it disturbing when I went to the exhibition, because I really felt the lyrics while I was listening to it, together with the visuals, because it is a VR experience. So you put, what do you call those things, goggles or something on, and you're really into that experience. You can like run away. Of course you can run away. You can just take the thing off your head. But many people, while I was there, were kind of feeling sick, and they asked to be taken off from the experience. I wasn't one of them. Like, it wasn't that extreme for me, but it was pretty disturbing. And not because of the music in your ears and the visuals that could be a little dizzying, and some of them could take you to a place where you would feel kind of sick in a way, like if you were experiencing, I don't know, maybe being in a place that would wobble a lot, it would maybe get to that point. It almost did to me, but I could like in one specific song that I think it was mouth mantra, because I have a thing about mouths and teeth. I don't really like it, and it was all about that, and it made me a little squirmy, but I could like breathe and be present, and I could just get my anxiety together, but not many people could. So it was really disturbing in that way, and I think it was a really good experience, even though it was disturbing, because if I could just listen to the songs and pay attention to the emotion on it and the lyrics and the instrumentation, and afterward the visuals together, but not inside it like a VR experience. Of course, I could relate to her. I didn't do that before the experience. That's what I'm saying. But I'm sure that I could get into those feelings if I was just in my room listening to the songs and really paying attention to the whole album. I know that because I do that with other albums. But since I hadn't done that before, I just went right to the VR experience to listen to all the songs for the first time. It was a really intense experience. And knowing Bjork, like I do, like musically, because I like listening to her songs and her music, I pretty much am sure that that's what she was going for. That's what she wanted, especially with the VR experience. She wanted to make you understand the depth of her pain, like to make you really uncomfortable, like she was when she was writing those songs, and maybe when she was trying to express herself through that experience too. So I chose this album because when I saw that it's been 10 years since it was released, and it took me like, I think it was 3 to 4 years that I avoided that album so I wouldn't connect to that kind of feelings, because I was already suffering from those kinds of feelings in my life. I didn't want to make them bigger than they already were. I felt that I was like drowning on those kinds of feelings. I didn't need more of those. And I think I was right by that time, because when I went to watch the exhibition, I was kind of leaning out of those feelings in my life. I was beginning to rid myself from those situations, and it was disturbing enough during that time. So I don't think I would be feeling great if I had that experience before. So maybe it was like Tori Amos said recently, there are some albums that are not meant for some people during certain times when it comes out. So she goes on about her latest album that she was inspired by her mother's death. So it's a grieving album, and I haven't listened to that album yet because I'm not in the right mind to listen to that kind of album this year. I don't want to really deal with that kind of feelings right now, so I'm kind of avoiding it. And it's okay. Like she said exactly that. It's an album about grief. It's not like Vulnicura. It's about the death of someone, but in some way, a really intense breakup may feel kind of like a death. At least for me, it's like that. And I think for Bjork, it is too. But it's two different things. Maybe I could listen to a breakup album right now, like I'm talking about the Vulnicura here, and listening to the album again. I'm not in a place where I can't, or I don't feel like listening to those kinds of songs right now. I'm okay. But listening to an album about the death of someone you love, I'm not really in that mental state where I can really enjoy that at this moment. And that's what she said. She was saying that if you're not open to grieving at the moment, you're not gonna like my latest album because it's all about that. So I wasn't really in the mental state that I could connect, not really enjoy, because maybe enjoy is not the right word to describe the feeling that you would get listening to Vulnicura, but like enjoy in a way that you're going for a ride in that experience. If you can be in a mental state where you can detach yourself from it and just empathize with Bjork and understand where she's coming from, but not like go along with it and get depressed by it, then it's okay. But if not, maybe you should just listen to that album on another time in your life. Disclaimers here already, because it took me 3 to 4 years to be able to listen to that album all together and really, quote unquote, enjoy the experience. So I'm listening to it again after another many years, because I would listen to Black Lake and Stone Milker that are favorites of mine, but not the whole album again and again, because to me it's not, like I said, it's not an album that I want to listen to all of it all the time, because I can really connect with the pain that Bjork felt, and it's not really a good experience for me. Sometimes the art that some artists do, if it keeps saying the same things, and the things that maybe you outgrew them, maybe you were like really intensely connected to some artist that like speaks about depression and anxiety and stuff, and you throughout your life you're trying to heal yourself and doing the work and going to therapy and stuff, and you're working on it and you're getting out of all those dark feelings and dark memories and stuff, and that band or that artist keep saying the same things. I'm not just saying that they are bad or they are stuck or anything like that. Maybe they like doing that kind of art. Maybe that's the way that they express themselves in a way that they can deal with the pain and deal with the darkness that they are going through. But maybe you just outgrow them, and that's okay. I had a really hard time realizing that about some of the artists that I really loved. It's not all of them. Most of them, it seems like they're growing and in a journey that matches mine. So I'm grateful for that. But some I just left behind. Sometimes I get nostalgia and I go back and I listen to some songs and stuff, but I'm not that into them anymore, and that's okay. That's what I'm saying. All of that to say that Bjork is not one of those people, because I think she's always evolving, and to me she's really interesting. She's always trying new things, and that's why I brought this music inspiration today, because Bjork is one of the few that is really inspiring me all the time. Not exactly musically, like objectively, like my songs are not really similar to hers, but she definitely inspires me, especially in production. She really inspires me. She's a really inspiring woman, artist and musician, and that's why I decided to talk about Vulnicura today, about Bjork in general, but especially Vulnicura, because this is an album that's really lyrical focused. So I think it reminded me, and it reminds me a little about Vespertine, that it's one of my favorite albums, like I said. I think it's because it's so personal and it sounds personal. The Vulnicura album is, she herself said it was personal and about her breakup. So we know that it's personal. Vespertine, she didn't say anything about it, but it kind of sounds connected. Like, I watched Anthony Fantano say that he thought it was about the same relationship. I agree. I also think that she's speaking about the same relationship. I can't be sure, but it seems like it. But this album is way more intense, more personal, and maybe because it is about a time of real pain. And the other one was more like I'm falling in love with that person and kind of feels lighter. It's not that it's not as important, but it feels lighter than this one, which is really heavy and intense. The other one is Vespertine, is also intense. And I'm just thinking about this now, as I was saying the name of the albums. Both of them start with the letter V. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's an interesting thing to think about. And I also saw in that Anthony Fantano's video from 10 years ago that on the lyric sheet that comes with the album, she put up dates towards the songs like 9 months before, 5 months before, 3 months before, 2 months after, 6 months after, 11 months after, like dates coming from before and after the breakup. So you can really understand what she was feeling and where she was emotionally speaking during those times where she wrote those songs. So it's really extremely intense, and it's something that inspires me, not in a way that, oh my God, I want to be that explicit to the public or anything, but it really is inspiring and brave. That's a thing that I'm inspired by. If I can be at least half as brave as she was by writing and releasing those songs, I'll be happy. Anyway, that's why I decided to bring to the channel today my first video about music inspiration. There are gonna be a lot more in the future, because I think it's important to speak about my musical inspirations. But since my focus has been music right now in the first place, so of course I would focus on musical inspiration. Anyway, this album can be an inspiration in every way. I just listen to this album and it makes me want to paint. It makes me want to do some really dark and soulful art that I need to express, that I've been trying to express lately, and I still feel that I can't really tap into it. And this album, maybe I feel like it is some kind of a medium through which I can maybe tap into those dark feelings that I need to express. So it's not only musical inspiration, it's also artistic inspiration. So that's why I decided to talk about it on this video. Anyway, thank you for watching the video up until now. And if you did enjoy Vulnicura, and if you listen to it and you like it, or if you don't like it, please comment below and say what your feelings are about it. And if you went to the VR experience, the Vulnicura VR experience, please comment below what you thought of it, if you were as disturbed as I was. If you were one of the people that couldn't go through with it, because I saw many people couldn't do it, or if you really enjoyed it and why. Please share your experiences here with me and anyone else that is inspired by the album or really enjoy the album and really want to connect to other people who really feel some sort of connection to the album in a way or another. And anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, so it will help get to more people, and maybe we will get to create a little community here. That's what I would want. And anyway, as always, see you in the next video.